Yes, fans!
It's the Agents of Sigma.
And we're back again in front of the camera, which, as you know, normally means unboxings. And if you've read the title of the video, it means unboxing.
Unboxing.
And so we are going to do some unboxing for you today.
Not just one, though.
No, not just one.
Unboxing. It's
unboxings. Stop interrupting.
Sorry.
Those who followed the Warhammer community website over the previous weekend, the Gen Con weekend, you will have seen that Games Workshop made lots of Gen Con announcements of exciting games and collaborations. They have Munchkin 40k. We haven't got that for you.
Munchkin 40. I didn't even hear about that. Sounds brilliant.
Munchkin 40k. Have you ever played Munchkin?
No.
No, you haven't played Munchkin. Munchkin is a really successful card game made by Steve Jackson Games.
Oh, okay.
And it was original thing was a kind of almost like a Dungeons and Dragons light kind of thing, and you kind of you have to go on a quest and get all the treasure in it's a competitive game.
Yeah.
You have to go on a quest, get the treasure, but basically it's spawned a million tie-ins.
There's a 40k version.
And now there's a 40k version.
We'll have to see if we can get a copy of that. Anyway, that's not what we're here for.
So we're not doing that, but they did also announce
that's what you came here for.
3 little games for younger players, sort of starter games, if you like. They announced 3. They announced a Lord of the Rings one, a Blood Bowl one, and a 40k one. And they're what we've got for you today. Now, before we go any further,
Covering the whole plethora of GWE things.
Yeah, though no AOS.
No AOS. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got those 3 games for you, and we're going to look at them. But before we do, I should probably say that these games aren't going to be available globally.
No.
They're only going to be available in the US and Germany, which is slightly curious, because I don't think any of the rules are in German in the thing, but we'll have a look.
Or American.
We'll go through. So we're going to take a look at them, and they're also, I should say, they're not going to be available in stores either.
No.
But not Games Workshop stores. They're going to be invited to things like GameSpot in Germany and Barnes & Noble in the US. So they're not going to be run through Games Workshop stores. And but they really are for beginners. And I guess that's kind of make them more accessible than just finding your local GW store.
Gateway games.
They're gateway games, exactly. So we're going to take a look at those.
Like Hero Quest and Space Crusade used to be. They were the gateway games of the 80s.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like that. Exactly like that.
Yeah.
And almost like this Age of Sigmar champions coming in, all these things, all different routes in, and the Warhammer Age of Sigmar stuff, the Stormstrike set we reviewed.
They suck you in with the little games.
Up there in that link. So have a look at that if you want. But anyway, so that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to look at it. This is just a quick look at the boxes. We're going to do full playthroughs for you in a couple of weeks' time, and I'll do a full review on Geek Dad. I'm wearing my new Geek Dad t-shirt today, just so you know that's where this will be.
See, brand loyalty. That's where it's at.
They may be there. They may be.
That's true.
So we'll start with the first one. I've chosen randomly of the 3, and I've chosen Lord of the Rings: The Quest for Mount Doom. Now it's funny you were talking about gateway games, Pete, because Lord of the Rings was my route into Warhammer. Basically, you probably don't remember because you were probably about 4.
Yep.
Citadel Miniatures back in about 1984, 85 did a brand of Lord of the Rings figures, metal Lord of the Rings figures, and they were I loved the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. My dad read it to me, and we found these figures and we bought them. And that's how I ended up playing.
And now we're here.
Warhammer. And now here we are, many years later.
It all went so wrong.
Yeah, life choices, hey?
Yeah.
So this is the Quest for Mount Doom, and it's a box, as you can see, and it says on the front, it says ages 8+, 30 to 45 minutes, 2 to 5 players. Now, the first thing I would say about this game is that I assumed it was a cooperative game, because you would think you were trying to destroy the ring in Mount Doom.
Yeah.
And you are, but it's not cooperative. You're trying to do it before your opponents.
So Borom's going to stab Legolas.
But it's not even. It's basically, it's not even a. What I play. One lot plays the dark side and one plays the Jedi. It's just you basically all play members of the Fellowship, and you just try and get the ring to Mount Doom. So the first thing we find is a little advertisement, because this is a gateway game, and so you don't really need to spend much time on that, but that is basically welcome to a world of fantasy games, and it has lots of the exciting Games Workshop games. Pelennor Fields game, I quite like the look of that. I don't know whether we'll actually get the review it on here. I've never played the Lord of the Rings, full Lord of the Rings
Neither have I. It's meant to be quite a campaigns tournament system. So
yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard good things about it. So, but I've not played it.
It's another big system.
I'm not sure we want to get into it.
Unless there's a big lottery winning.
Although, funnily enough, Pelennor Fields, going back to my early days, White Dwarf 53 had a How to Play Warhammer Battle of Pelennor Fields, and it was my favourite edition of Warhammer.
There you go. So if you've got a spare copy of 53 knocked around, send it to Robin.
I have got one upstairs, but the cover's come off.
He's got it.
I read it so much.
Just send him the cover.
So they have this piece here, which is just a nice ring goes on the top, and then on the back we have how to assemble your miniatures. So the miniatures you get in this game aren't assembled.
They're very complex. You got your standard two-piecer sort of thing. Stick the hat arm in the hole, and the rest of it is already there. So they still look nice.
Put the board to one side at the moment, and there's some rules here. So these are the miniatures. As you can see, they're in gold, which is pretty cool. Now this, I'm slightly intrigued by this sprue, because this sprue is
got a little ring on it.
Exactly, Yay! It's got a ring on it. If you like it,
put a ring on it.
It's got a little, and it says copyright NLP Inc. That must be New Line Productions, mustn't it?
Yes.
2005.
Wow.
So they're quite old, these miniatures. These are not new by any stretch of imagination. But I don't remember, and again, viewers do comment below, I don't remember a Games Workshop version of these figures that had a ring on them. But I guess by 2005 I was just having children, and I can't remember anything from that period.
Yeah, I don't think any of us remember 2005 that well.
No, Sauron could have danced on the table in front of me singing.
If you like, you put a ring on it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have remembered.
Anyway,
so they're the models. So there's basically you've got the Fellowship there.
Yeah, you've got 4 hobbitses.
Yeah.
Sneaky little hobbitses. You've got Gimli. I know.
That's very good.
How takes is it from us? So there's Gimli there, and old dude, I can't remember his name. Magneto. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and then there's Sean Bean and Legolas, and I can't remember his name. Aragorn. I remember.
Viggo.
I know. Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
He bought the horse. Did you know that? He got so attached to the horse in the films, he bought it afterwards, because I don't know if they said they were just going to chuck it in the blender.
Good job he wasn't in The Godfather.
Yeah, I want to buy the horse. Yeah, you probably don't.
So we've got placky bags. Always good. Placky bags in here, and lots of bases for the miniatures. And the assembly is pretty straightforward, as we said. It's basically clip them out, stick them together. Yeah. You get a dice as well.
Ooh, dicey.
And you also get a little Barad-dûr over here, which is build yourself Barad-dûr, and then there's some cards, all nice.
That's a lot simpler than the Barad-dûr miniatures.
Lego one.
Yeah, approximately 1 billion squares.
Okay, and then there's Pip in there, and there's the cards. These are the Fellowship cards, I'm guessing. Lord of the Rings, Quest of the Mountain Dew, character cards. So basically, you've got all 9 members of the Fellowship in there.
Yeah, cool.
And then there are event cards,
and they've got the pictures from the film as well.
It is all, everything in here is all tied into the film. There is no kind of artwork from sort of illustrations or anything from the books. It is definitely a film tie-in rather than a book tie-in. And then you've got items, and then you have the board here, which is so good thick solid board.
I see you.
So here's the board, which as you can see is rather lovely.
Huge.
And it's very big. Yes.
It's got like a system connecting dots, which seems to connect multiple things. So I assume you can make routes through and stuff like that.
Yes, you can. I haven't played it, so I've had a quick flick through the rules. No. I haven't. I've read them, but I haven't played the game. Basically, if you look around here, you've got these bits at the top here correspond to locations in the film. So you've got Rivendell, TM, Caradhras, the Westgate, Moria, Balin's Tomb. And each of those gets an item card underneath it. And when you go there, so these locations on the map, when you get there, which you can go via these pathways. Basically, if you're the first person to go, you take the item card,
right? And
one of the items might be the One Ring. The One Ring is somewhere, and then you've got it, and you've got to get it to Mount Dew,
right?
Move through to Mount Dew. But there's an Eye of Sauron card, which is drawn at the beginning of every turn, and that looks at one of the locations. So the Eye of Sauron has locations on them, and it will look somewhere. And if you're there, then you have to drop. I think you have to move, or you have to drop whatever you've got. And if you've got the One Ring, it's particularly bad.
Yeah, that could be nice.
So, and then you start over here in Hobbiton, or you can in the long game. I think with more people, you start at Rivendell. But if you in the traditional game, you can start with Hobbiton and move through. And that's kind of it. You basically move through here, but you do get items which can help you, and you can sabotage your opponent as you go.
It's got all cutscenes from the film in all the different locations, although some of them look a bit CGI'd because that's a very dodgy looking Sean Bean there or something.
That's Faramir.
Oh, is it Faramir? That's why it doesn't look like Sean Bean there.
Yeah.
So,
That's of Gilead. I hadn't noticed on my first look underneath all these photographs is a sort of watermarked map.
Yeah,
which is quite nice.
Which looks quite tasty.
It's quite nice, isn't it? I haven't noticed that.
So that's the board. You've got your models, got your cards.
And that is kind of about it. It looks fairly simple to play. The way you move around the board is you basically roll a dice at the beginning of your turn. You can move that number of spaces. So Hobbiton to Buckleberry Ferry is 1. So if you roll a 3, you can go from Buckleberry Ferry to...
You can see Moira over here and Westgate, and there's a 1 in there. So that would be 1 space. Then moving from Westgate to Rivendell is 2. So if you rolled 3, you could go there and then there.
Yeah, although you'd be going backwards and away from where you wanted to go.
Yes.
But there might be reasons why. I can't remember from my...
Wait, if you don't have the ring yet, then...
Yeah, quite possibly. You've got to check out the different locations.
Yeah.
So that is kind of it. So basically, you work your way down, and if Sauron sees you, you have to go. I think you go backwards. I think you may even have to go back to Rivendell. Things like that. If you get spotted,
it looks quite simple. It looks like it's not too hard a game. Anybody who's a Lord of the Rings fan's going to enjoy the iconography and the imagery in it because it's all from the films. Assume you like the films, of course, and you're not a complete book hardcore person who doesn't like any of the films. I mean, I like the films.
I do like the films. I don't love the films. I love the first film. I don't love the other two so much. But I do love the way they kept
all the imagery in here, and they blended it nicely. Like there's the original map in the background, the watermark map in the background, which is very nice as well.
Yeah, I do love the map.
It's quite nice.
And it looks really fun. I say as a sort of Tolkien hardliner, if you like, which I'm not really, but I'm slightly disappointed it's not a cooperative game. I feel like it's a missed opportunity.
You'd think that you'd have 1 or 2 or 3 people being the good guys, and then you'd have a few Uruk-hai or something like that.
Saruman, you could have Saruman and Sauron.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd think you'd have a bit more of that, and you've got to try and manoeuvre away around the board whilst the other person's coming after you and all that kind of stuff.
I would like to have seen that, but however, this does look good. We will play it soon. I think it's a fairly quick run through to play. Perhaps we'll try and get some other agents in for that.
Calling all agents. Calling all agents.
Because I think...
Mork calling agents.
I think it would be better with 4 people, probably.
Yeah, I think 2 might get a little dull.
Perhaps we'll try and
just have to play 2
try
players.
And get an extra person in, maybe. We'll try and we'll do 2 each and do silly voices.
Yes.
You could do Smeagol.
I'm Smeagol, Trixie Princess.
So that is the Lord of the Rings game. That looks pretty good. If you've got any young fans of the films or the books, then I would recommend checking that out. Particularly the miniatures are really lovely. I can imagine when I was sort of 10, 11.
Oh,
absolutely
you'd have killed
those.
for these.
Yeah, I would have.
And Sam's got his pat frying pan, and Merry and Pippin have both got a rock.
Yeah, I would have ruined them when I tried to paint them at that age. But I absolutely loved the miniatures. So
they've done a fairly good likeness on all of them as well.
Yeah, they are good. I remember thinking they were good back in the day.
And they're standard. They look like standard GW fare on the printing side of things.
Yeah.
So the quality is pretty solid, and there's no bendy swords or anything like that. They're all pretty sharp. So not bad at all.
No, and there is a 1 ring. I think when the 1 ring gets revealed, it goes onto the board.
Have I gone invisible, Rob?
Yes.
Yay!
You have. Yes, I think the 1 ring goes on the board and goes round, and it can disappear again. Not like you threw me by disappearing. But then if you end up passing it on, or a possibility if somebody takes an item from you, you're allowed to basically hide it again because you don't know whether he took it or not.
Right. Yeah. I like it.
Yes.
Cool.
So it's quite clever.
That's funky. It looks nice and simple. It should be a quick game to play, and it's good for younger generations as well. So what's not to like about that? So that is the Lord of the Rings Quest to Mount Doom game, Middle-earth adventure game. That one is on our thumbs up list, I think. I haven't even played it yet. It's on our thumbs up list.
It's definitely for look and feel. It's on
definitely for look and feel.
I reckon it'll be good. Having read the rules, I reckon it'll be quite fun to play.
It's a winner.
So moving on to something a little closer to Pete's heart, perhaps.
Maybe.
Is
Blitz Bowl!
Blitz Bowl!
This looks awesome!
It's just like a mini version of Blood Bowl. What's not to like about Blood Bowl? And a mini version. It's just all the awesome squashed down into a little bit.
Shall I let you?
You've already opened it. You've already taken the seal. So this says ages 8+. Now that means they must have simplified the rules because there's no way an 8-year-old will be able to play regular Blood Bowl in my book. 40 minutes, 2 players. The 40 minutes catches my attention because Blood Bowl can take 2 hours depending on how you play. If you play like us, it's like 6 hours.
Yeah, it has to be said. that as we get older, the shorter games are much better.
Yes,
40
because
minutes is perfect.
our attention span doesn't really get much past. Robin over here, our attention span doesn't seem. I mean, it doesn't go past an hour really, and we have to stop for naps.
Yes.
So
45 minutes is our sweet spot.
It is. Yeah. It's a shame we can't actually fit the games into the 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So here we go. We've got a rulebook. Love a little rulebook there. I do love a rulebook. Who doesn't? Can't play the game without one. It's got some nice new artwork on that one actually. That actually looks different. I've not seen that artwork before. So they're breaking out some new stuff.
Blitz Bowl gives you a clue there. You've got an Orc and a Humi.
An Orc and a Umi.
Might tell us what type of miniatures we're going to get.
And then you've got a little cardboard push out, and it's got a quick reference thing, which is nice because you've got on there the different results on the dice, and you've also got a little some dugouts there as well for your players when they're waiting, and those are the different results. So it's the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter which way up you have it, which is quite handy. And a little range ruler at the top.
There's just two ranges in this one, short and long.
Short and long. And then there's a pitch. We'll come back to the pitch in a minute. Oh, and plastics. Plastic sprue.
Plastic sprue, one red.
One red for orcs, and one
Yellow.
mustardy kind of
Wouldn't expect
colour.
yellow.
Mustard. Now the mustard makes it look soft. I don't know if that's
Plastic. Yeah, it does. It makes it look like a different type of plastic. I don't know whether it's a different type of plastic to get the yellow in. I'm not sure. But these red ones, they feel more like traditional GW plastic. And these, like you say, they almost feel softer. They're almost more like a more standard board game.
Yes, yes, more like your Ludo or something like that. The plastic might be made out of something like that. And I don't know if it's just the coloration of it, because I mean some of the detail looks a lot sharper. Maybe it's just the colour that throws it off, because the red ones look like pretty standard fare.
Yeah, they are the same models that you get in the Blood Bowl game, just less of them.
Yeah, it's one of each sprue rather than two of each sprue, which makes up a normal game.
Look on the side of the box here, you've got the Avalon Knights, and they're yellow and blue, and on that side you've got the Ironclad, whatever they are. Orcs.
Ironclad Decimators.
Decimators. And they're actually just 5 each. Now, luckily, Pete and I actually have 2 painted Blood Bowl teams, so we'll be able to go.
We can play this game with painted models.
Exactly, that'll be very exciting.
Bag of bags, always nice to have a bag of bags. Lots of bases. Lots of slot bases with the little hole in them as well, so that you can fit the ball in there nice and easily and it doesn't go flying around all over the place. No puns intended. And then some dice, bag of dice. And no D16, I'm a little disappointed to see here. But
I don't think in a beginner game you're going to get a D16. There is a D8 in there.
There is a D8. There is
I'm assuming. That's for direction.
Yes, it'll be for scatter rolls.
Yes.
And you do have your standard dice for blocking and stuff like that, and a D6 as well. And they're of a different colour as well. They're definitely different colours. I don't know if they're bigger.
Yeah, one's red and one's yellow.
But yeah, thank you. But I mean, the yellow is a different dice to what you normally get in Blood Bowl.
Do you? I can't remember.
So
blotted the game from my mind.
Green and blue. And then there's some cards, packs of cards in here. Now these are where I'm really interested, because so you've got 2 packs of cards in here, and one of them has a lineman on the front, but not a human lineman. It's a dwarf lineman. Oh, and the stats are different as well. They've got a move stat, then they've got a throw stat, a bit like 40k, so it's just 5+, not AG of whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And they've got an armour value of 2+, not an actual armour value of 7.
But they're dwarves.
Like
that's very confusing, Pete.
So that's dwarves. Do you want to know why there's dwarves in here?
Well, they're elves.
And they're elves. You know what elves in there? And there's goblins in here too.
Right.
And then there's humans in there. You know why? Because you can play this game with the teams that aren't just in the box. There's
yes.
Skaven as well.
Games Workshop will be bringing out separate Blitz Bowl teams.
Yeah.
So again, unfortunately, probably not in the UK, at least not first. So everybody in the US and Germany, if you buy this, then we'll be able to buy it over here too. Basically, they will be bringing out new extra sets too, so you can play the game with those. And of course, if you had already had the teams, I guess you could get in and play.
Yeah.
Actually, if you had the other models, you could just get on and play because you've got the cards.
Loads of different ones in there, and you've got, I believe it takes orcs, humans, dwarves, elves, chaos, and Skaven.
Skaven, yes.
And I've got Skaven. And I've only painted half the team, so that works out really well.
For those of you who are watching who haven't played yet, Games Workshop Games, Skaven are little moving around rat men.
Rat things.
That Pete loves. I can't think why.
Yeah. Remind me of my children. And you've also got these little drill cards here. Now, they're not like hammer drill and other bad jokes like that. They're actually drills, like you have to set up the board in a specific way, and it shows you how you have to place all your models and how the board goes, and then you have to do something. So it says set the board up, as shown below, and this should be roughly how the board was left after drill 1. So that's,
So they're effectively tutorials.
Yes, and you've got different drills for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can play the ball in order, and then that should be a good way of showing you how to do all the different things. So it tells you how you demonstrate the mark action, for example, and the mark action is new. I've not. That's not in Blood Bowl, so that's
The mark
already
action.
The
Well,
mark action.
I have read the
Already
rule. I'll try and
something
run through. Do you want to quickly show off the board?
Oh yeah, let's show off the board. Now I'm big. We are on this channel big fans of boards. We do like a nice board, and this is double-sided, which I'm also a big fan of. Now this side here is you've got the numbers. Put it up the right way for you. You've got numbers across the top there for your scores. You've got a pretty, I would say, standard layout, but it's not a Blood Bowl standard layout at all. You've got a little trapdoor in the middle that's got a glowy thing around it, which has got to be good. And there's some statues around here, and then you've got the end zones as normal.
I think basically the trapdoor, if I remember correctly, when somebody scores, a new ball comes in immediately. So if somebody's standing on a trapdoor, bad things happen to them immediately.
Ah, funky.
It's double-sided, and one side's got 2 trapdoors. And they do suggest for your first game, you're only playing side with 1 trapdoor. And then these other cards, which will come to in a minute. So I'll quite quickly run through the game. It's pretty simple. I haven't played it, but I have read the rules. And basically, it is literally, as you would expect, like cut down Blood Bowl. And I guess the main difference is that it's a little bit shade-spiry. These cards, the challenge cards. The challenge cards. So these challenge cards. So basically,
the Shade Spy cards.
The Shade Spy cards. Yeah, these challenge cards. You basically, obviously, it's a game of football-esque thing. So you're trying to score goals or touchdowns, and should you score one, you get a point. But not the only way you can score. You can score with these, which are like objective cards. Ooh. So this one is showboat for the crowd. Claim this card if your team scored a touchdown this action.
So that is score.
That is an extra one, yes.
Oh, okay. So get an extra one as well as scoring.
Get moving. Claim this card if at least 3 players made run actions during your turn. Get moving. That's the same one. So there are multiple ones of these. Take them down. Claim this card if an opponent was knocked down or injured this action.
Ooh, which that's one of the main things you want to do in Blood Bowl. A lot of the teams don't even bother with the ball.
Yeah.
So when do you use these cards, Rob?
The challenge cards?
Yes.
Well, you use the challenge cards after I'd have a turn, you'd have a turn.
Right.
To get out of position, trying to get into position, and then the challenge cards come into play.
Okay.
Basically, I think they're dealt out randomly, but only 3. So there's 3 at the start of a turn.
Okay.
And then we can try and win them on that turn.
Okay. So they're up for grabs for either player to get?
Yes, for either player. And you can see them, and you can actually see when they're done. So there'd be 3 here like this. Yeah. There's 3 here like this on the board, and actually you'll be able to see the 4th one too. So you can see that, but you can't win it.
I see.
But you know what's coming, so you can kind of set up for it. Because at the end of the turn, so yes, at the end of my turn, these will be refreshed. Any that I won, I would keep. I see. And I'll tell you why I keep those in a second. And then that you would get, any that I didn't keep would be discarded, and you get 3 new ones. So you would at least know that what that one was.
Yes.
When you're about to start.
Cool.
So that'd be vaguely helpful. Now the interesting thing about these is they're double-sided.
Ooh.
So on the back this says foul. Playing this card costs 1 of your actions. Immediately injure a prone opponent who is adjacent to one of your open players.
Awesome.
So these basically are like extra. So you win the challenge cards, you get a point,
and it gives you an ability to do something.
And then it gives an ability that you can then play later in the game. So that's pretty good.
I like that. You've got change ends, enfeebling curse. There's all kinds of funky stuff in it, and I'm guessing that if you've got several showboat for the crowds, they have different things on the back, so you can't
won't know which ones they are.
Yeah, so you can't just see, that's showboat for the crowd, so I know on the back of that I've got this, so I want to win that one. It could be something else.
So you could end up with multiple showboat from the crowd, and you'd have to pick one. You wouldn't know which one you were going to get. I really like that idea. Actually, I kind of like that, and it appeals to the Shadespire player in me.
Yeah.
And that's really quite a neat mechanic that I really enjoy.
It rewards you for doing the things that are the challenges that are set, not just going for the touchdowns each time.
Exactly, and if you actually manage to get all 3, you get 2 bonus points.
Boom.
You get all 3 in your turn. You get 2 bonus points.
If you manage to get all 3, you are thrashing your opponent then. So
quite possibly.
It snowballs a little bit.
Exactly. And that kind of is... That's the kind of main extra rule, I think. The other things are just variations on... Blood Bowl. They're just slightly simplified. So
now a lot of people will be happy to see who play Blood Bowl, because there's a little diagram in here for throwing. So it gives you the range here. A lot of people don't like using the rulers because it causes arguments of what's in the range and what isn't in the range, but that gives you a little diagram there so you can see straight away, so people don't have to worry about that.
In line with the player's base, the grey shaded area is in short range, I see.
Yeah, so it gives you that. Whilst it has a lot of the feel of Blood Bowl with moving and blocking and assisting blocks and stuff like that, it does look like it's different enough that it's not just playing Blood Bowl
There
now.
are some key differences, like you said about having there's a mark action.
Yes,
So you can
yeah.
run to anywhere on the pitch, but you're not allowed to finish next to an opponent. If you want to finish next to them, you have to mark them.
I see.
And so that basically means moving in to mark them.
Okay.
And the block, I think, is the same. You have these dice.
Yeah.
But there's no assisting.
There's blocking, and then there's...
If a target of a block is also being marked by one of the players, the block is assisted.
Yeah.
That means the blocking player's coach rolls 2 block dice.
So it is different because you have only got 2 block dice in here, so it's not got the same system of your strength versus the other person's strength. It's just you roll 1 dice and that's it.
Yes,
Now,
there was something in here that it says, those of you who play Blood Bowl. So yes, it says, coaches are familiar with Blood Bowl, the classic ball game with which Blitz Bowl draws a great deal of inspiration, might be looking for a rule that lets them cancel out assists. The short answer is that there isn't one. As long as a player is adjacent to an opponent and both players are standing there marking each other, regardless of what any other players are getting up to around them.
No tackle zones.
No.
Well, there might be tackle zones, there might be dodging that's still required or anything, but that's not the same as in Blood Bowl. So
No,
it is,
I think that's the bit I really couldn't get my head around was the blocking and assisting. And
yes, you did always struggle with that. Although you seem to get better in Shadespire using the Blood Bowl rules.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So it is a very different game to Blood Bowl. But I think someone who plays this and then they get their half a team already and they paint that one up, they're gonna hopefully want to see what the full thing's like, and it's different, but this should hopefully start to give them a bit of an idea of how you move the models and things like that, and get them used to the idea of what the game's all about. Because I mean, Blood Bowl in general was a bit of a strange theory, the kind of fantasy football-esque kind of thing in the most literal sense of the word.
Yes, and I think also I don't think people they're completely taken out of the game in this one.
Yes.
So if somebody's injured, they go to the dugout, but then they can come back in. So there's an action which is a reserve action. You bring somebody back in.
Yeah.
So
and they run back up onto the pitch.
Basically, yeah. So it stops you. You can't
keeps the game going.
Yeah, you can't snowball where you can. Because in Blood Bowl, you can actually just decimate a team.
That is a valid tactic in Blood Bowl. It's just to wipe the opponent out so that there's nobody left to actually get onto the pitch. This at least keeps the game moving, keeps it faster paced. The lower model count means you haven't got quite as much to think about, which is nice because that keeps things a bit simpler and a bit easier. And yeah, I like the look of this. This looks really funky. This looks like it could be a fun game.
I think it'd be fun. I think it's, and again, it hits that sweet spot of being about 40 minutes to play.
Yeah.
I think I will enjoy this.
A nice contained area as well. The board's not too big. It's not sprawling like 40k or AOS might be. So it's a nice little intro-y game. We get again another gateway game.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to playing that, and I know you are. So we will review that one for you soon. I'll try and get people not to draw all over the board.
With painted models and everything. There we go. That's how we roll.
Right. Game 3 in this video, and of the Games Works I'm bringing to you for newcomers is Space Marine Adventures.
Labyrinth of the Necrons.
Exactly, this is Labyrinth of the Necrons. This is very different from the other two because this is a cooperative game.
Oh, I like it.
So basically, it's got a little blurb here, I think. It says, it's upside down, it says Space Marine Adventures is a fast-paced game for 1 to 4 players set in a dark and dangerous labyrinth of the Necrons. Take control of a squad of brave Space Marines and battle against the menace of the alien Overlord and his robotic foot soldiers. Can the Space Marines survive the labyrinth and defeat the evil Overlord? Begin your adventure today and find out.
Now, just by looking at the back of the box, it kind of looks a bit Space Crusade / Space Hulk-esque.
Yes.
Which looks quite funky in all the Space Marines. There's one from each chapter. Well, not every chapter, but there's 5 different chapters there.
Well, yes, spot my reveal there.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, it does. It has 5 different Space Marines from 5 different chapters. I'm going to go straight into the plastic.
Diving straight in the plastic. We don't care. That's how we roll.
Look at this. I got so excited when I had a quick look through this book at the plastic.
Look at all the colours.
Look.
There's so many colours. There's a blue, there's a green, there's a yellow, there's a red, there's a grey. Oh, there's that orangey, not orangey, there's that mustardy sort of weird colour again.
Blood Bowl, yes. So basically, these are, for those who don't know, each one of these represents a different chapter in the Warhammer 40,000
Can you
universe.
name them all, Robin?
Probably not. I'm going to go for the Space Wolves, the Blood Angels.
Yep.
The Dark Angel, no, I think that's the Salamanders. Actually, the Salamanders and the blue ones, the Ultramarines, and the yellow ones are the Colonel Mustard with the lead piping. Is that right?
So
Did
close.
I get that right?
Imperial Fists.
Imperial Fists, that's right.
So
that's kind of
close.
like Colonel Mustard on a Saturday night.
Close.
So
So here we go. This is the game.
This is the game, and it's cooperative, and there's
lots of sections, bits of cardboard here.
Yeah,
oh, look, there's little sections, and you can see on these that they have pictures of Necrons on. I'm a robot. So you don't get any Necron models in this game. You get little counts from. But if you've got Necrons, you could substitute them in if you wanted. But if you don't,
I would guess so. Pictures that is.
you could just
I
I
guess
use
you
them.
could.
Yeah, don't see why not. And it's got some nice little artwork on some of these things and some green, lasery kind of things.
And this, I guess, is the board. And so I haven't actually had time to look through this one properly. But basically, I
Juicy.
think this will line up. So you actually build a labyrinth. Look, they actually.
Would that labyrinth be for the Necrons?
I guess it would. I say like they don't. They do line up.
They do line up. Yeah,
yes,
I think
do.
they look like they've got
do, yeah.
various sections on
Yeah.
them that could be aligned.
Yes, and you've got dice, one for each colour of
look
your
Various
Space
chapter.
Marines.
Yeah, you've got a grey one, a blue one.
Plastic bags. Clearly, Games Workshop know that
Blacky
beginners
bags.
want plastic bags.
They've been listening to us. They've been watching
and
this channel.
There is a
a little drawstring bag.
Again, I'm not quite sure what that's for.
Ooh.
And there's these cards here.
I think the drawstring bag might have something to do with the dice. You put the dice in, then you have to randomly pick out one of the dice.
I like
I just making that up completely on the spot.
These
but we
guys
know.
here say one Neopol.
Ah, one nipple. So open now.
Open now.
Better open it. I'll open this one, Rob.
No, Pete, no.
Why?
That says odd ton Nipol. Do not open.
Don't open. I won't open that one then.
No, open.
Fine.
So this is cooperative. So I'm guessing these do not open as level 1, level 2, level 3. I'm guessing this is kind of like secret things that you mustn't know. when
They must be.
setting up the
Maybe
game.
they're like.
And there's an advanced pack at the bottom here.
They must be things like things that the Necrons do or stuff that
Yes.
happens to you.
Yeah.
I again just pluck out of the air as a guess.
Quite exciting. I don't know
Who
how the
knows?
AI works in this game. I'm guessing it's probably got some Hammerhall, Silver Tower similarities, maybe. So there's this lovely deck of cards. I really like the artwork. on
The
it.
artwork on it is reminiscent of the Dark Imperium artwork.
It is indeed. And so this is open now. So we've got Sergeant Cassius. So they've got your character
Sergeant
card.
Cassius Clay.
And there's a wounded version of him.
Oh,
So there's like Cassius there, and then there's a wounded version of Cassius, which is interesting. Brother Infernus.
Infernus.
And then Brother Infernus wounded on the other side. And then there's a Blood Angel. I'm not going to go through all of these. There's a Blood Angel thing there.
Quite like that, with again with a little
Yeah.
thing on the back.
And then a Necron Overlord.
Oh,
Necron Overlord,
I'm
and then
a
some
robot.
Necron things, and then an Ultramarine and an Imperial Fist. Brother Grimm.
he
Always
wrote some
good
pretty good
Always
stories.
good fun at parties. And
He's grim in the
Brother
Necron
Gabriel, the Blood Angel, and then more Necrons and Necron Immortal.
Immortal. It's a bit unfair putting him in there. You can't kill him.
Yeah, Brother Frostclaw. So yes, so they are. So there's loads of cards in here. Then there's some
Then we get on to
rapid
some kind
fire. Play this card at any point during this Space Marine's turn. This Space Marine immediately attacks each Necron that it can see in its range, and they're just that back, so they're not like specific to anybody.
Yeah.
Frag grenades.
Bam.
The son of Gulliman.
Oh, what's that all about?
This card can only be given to Sergeant Cassius. If he is not part of this Space Marine adventure, or if he's been taken out of action, discard this card and draw a different special card. So this is a special card. Play this card at any point during Cassius' turn until the end of the turn. Increase Cassius' actions characteristic to 5 and add 1 to the dice when Cassius performs an action.
5? That's just overpowered.
There's I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
Narthecium.
A Narthecium, I don't know what that is.
It's when someone turns up who you've been wanting to see for a while. You go, oh, Narthecium.
I could see where you were going for that. And I couldn't stop you.
It's like a slow motion car crash. Oh,
still.
it's terrible.
Suffer not the alien to live.
It's a bit unfair, really.
The armour of contempt. Try and read that. Red first. That's a blood angel.
Blood Angel
special
specific one.
Yeah.
Another
crack
grenade.
grenade.
Bam.
Warrior Born. That's the Frostclaw Space Wolves.
Space Wolves one.
And there's another
Narthecium.
Planecraft. That's your salamanders. So there's loads of cards there. I'm not going to go through them all,
Let's go.
but that's kind of the
funky?
game in a nutshell. The rules are pretty brief actually. There's only about 20 pages worth in there. 14 in fact, and some of those include assembly of.
It does look like a lot of the models are push fit in this set.
These are all
which
push
is
fits.
nice.
The Blood Bowl ones are push fit. The Lord of the Rings, they're too old.
They're not. Although they are, there is just a peg and a hole. So if you're lucky, they might just squeeze in there and stay there. There's a little bit of advertising for First Strike and
a
stuff
picture
like that.
of the thing. So actually, the actual rules of the game. There's only 10 pages of rules.
Yeah.
So that's the game. So I haven't read the rules, so I'm not going to even try and pretend that I understand how it works.
I'm sure we could pretend, but it's not going to be very accurate for you. So we will be getting around to having a game with that soon. That does look like it's going to be a fairly simple affair. like all these games, they're aiming at the younger audiences and they're looking for a short play time. This one is ages 8+ again. I think all three of the games we've done have been 8+ tonight, and all of them have been
45 minutes.
30 to 45 minutes. So that'll be an hour and 50 for us. and this one plays for between 1 and 4 players.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to play it solo.
It's a bit odd that you've got 5 Marines and it's 1 to 4 players.
I guess you can't always use all of them.
Yeah, I guess so. And I get a bit of a Space Crusade vibe from this.
I was a little bit old for Space Crusade. I don't know much about it, but it does look a bit like that. I really like the look of it. I quite like a bit of a co-op game myself, so I'm hoping the AI is really good and enjoyable. I don't know how much we'll be able to show you. We'll hopefully bring you a review game, but of course, if it's a type of cooperative game that has spoilers in, we won't be able to.
Yeah, we'll have to put some spoilers in there and just say, we're going to play for this, but it's got spoilers.
But we only play the first level. There's lots of levels, I guess. So I think I'm most intrigued by this one.
I would say I'm most intrigued by Blitz Bowl.
Yeah, you surprised me, but I'm not really intrigued by that because that's like Blood Bowl.
Well, that is true.
And that one is like a pretty standard board game.
Roll the dice and move places and things. But this one is something
a co-op space
different
game. It's quite interesting. I suppose it's almost like I quite like the look of that. I thought the Necrons are quite funky. As we said at the top of the video, none of these are coming out in the UK straight away. I guess Games Workshop, if they do well in other regions, will arrive. I know there were some other ranges of younger player stuff that I reviewed. Was it just a US audience? But I have seen them in the UK. They did release them into the wild.
Into the wilds of the UK.
So we will see how that goes. But yes, and I don't have prices for these yet, but I will try and get those before the video is cut.
And if not, they'll go in the comments below.
When we get them, but hopefully people will sort of put something up here. Or he just say, no, I didn't. So we'll see how we go. And I hope that was useful. So we haven't played the games yet, but they look really great, and we will bring you reviews as soon as we can.
Yeah, I'd say if you're just a board game sort of fan, then the Lord of the Rings one might be your best bet. If you're somebody who loves Blood Bowl and has children, doesn't have the time in their life to play it, Blitz Bowl might be the thing for you. And this one looks like it harkens back to a bit more of a Space Crusade time, and it has a bit of a model/card sort of system involved.
I guess it might possibly lead you into games like I want to say Blood and Fury, I don't know if that's what it's called. The new 40,000 role-playing games. Step that way. A bit of cooperative 40,000,
Could be interesting. I mean, this kind of game is going to lead you into your Space Hulk and things like that, I would have thought. If you get this and play this, you're probably going to like Space Hulk, if you can actually get hold of a copy.
But it's not cooperative Space Hulk, is it?
Space Hulk is not cooperative, so there is that difference there.
I would love to see more good cooperative games from GW, because I really like that.
Well, there was Hero Quest and Space Crusade and Advanced Hero Quest and things like that, and
Silver Tower and all that lot now.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't a massive fan of Silver Tower, but Hammerhal, Shadows over Hammerhal, like that. But that wasn't completely cooperative because you've got the DM, so. But that worked, I think.
Anyway, we're waffling now. Ignore us. But if you do want to see that Hammerhal video, it's up there. Please do. If you enjoyed that, do put a like down below. And if you want to know anything about the games, then do comment below as well. Look out for the reviews on Geek Dad. Pete will try and put them in the comments below as and when they appear. It'll be a few weeks away because we've got to play them, video them, and do all that stuff. A little while yet. But these games aren't actually out until the middle of August at the very earliest. And like I say, don't look for them in your local Games Workshop.
They won't have them.
Look for them in Barnes and Noble or
especially don't look for them if you're in the UK, because they're going to go, don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly, if you're in Germany, GameSpot is the place to buy them, I believe. So hopefully that was useful. Hopefully we didn't waffle too much. I think we probably did.
We always do.
Until next time, we are the Age of Sigmar, and we'll see you soon. Bye.